Hello, I'm Rusty. Welcome back to Prrk Industries. Yes, Prrk. I'm sorry it's been so long. Life has kind of got in the way a bit recently, but I think we've sorted that out. Back to business, we have got two doozies of some custom built circuits to show you. Resonance Circuits is a company brand person that you should be familiar with from the north of, well, the Midlands of England, north to me, but the Midlands of England. Resonance Circuits is, I believe, a gentleman on his own who has been making some wonderful pieces of art sound that you can buy on a sort of bespoke basis, and I've been a fan of his work for as long as his YouTube channel of demos has been up for. They aren't often available to buy to the sort of layman, and recently he's introduced a range of smaller flash driven IC kits that are assembled, bought ready for you, and he's created, if I have a look at a range of about, I'm just trying to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10. They're called Sacred Geometry, and you can see those hopefully here. They're very, very simple, sort of no nonsense, no frills, loops or ambient, sort of akin to the Buddha machine loops that you might find. Just one per circuit, and each one has a different one. I figured I'd get two, watch the YouTube clips and decided on which ones I sort of liked the most. I sort of then plugged them in and had a bit of a play with them. They've got some interesting features in that on board there's just a simple sort of stereo jack out, on and off switch, all powered by a 3-volt cell. LED that lights up in time with the sample as it's played through, and then the two bit of functionality parts that there are to it are there is a potentiometer for what seems to be sort of pitch and time, so for how much time you would like the sample to play through, and the other one dictates the start point, which is really, really interesting. So you can make it really, really sort of a short sample, tiny sort of bit from the start, and just dictate where that begins, and I will show you in a second. They both function in exactly the same way, and to that end they're nice and straightforward to use. I haven't yet used them together, but I'll try and have a go at that in a moment as well. All of his machines that he puts together, I really encourage you to go and have a look at Resonance Circuits, either on Facebook or on YouTube. Absolutely amazing. I'm glad to have finally got my hands on some of his work. So what we'll do is go and have a bit of a play with them and see what they can do. The loop begins straight away, and what you can do is instantly start to play with the timing. This is the loop in its entirety, and turning this dial just clips the end of the loop, so you can just reduce it slightly and pick out certain phrases in the loop. And it's quite accurate. And if you go full tilt with it, it's very reminiscent of some of the boss delays. And then, of course, to go with it, you've got this dial, which changes both the sort of pitch and the pace. So you can really go right back to some really 8-bit grainy lo-fi sounding and those two functions exist the same on all of the different Sacred Sound geometries, all the various titles. I don't know if they're still available to buy on ResonanceCircuits.com. I don't know if they've sold out yet, but yeah, as you can see, I'm quite happy with the ones that I've got so far. So just a quick demo of some of the sounds. Now, I feel a bit bad that I don't recall the two names at this point of sort of demoing them of each of the different circuits, so I will go back and find out from the order what they were called. But this was the first one, so I'm going to switch now and show you the second one. And they look identical, which really doesn't make things easy for me to remember which is which, but okay, on. So as you can see, exact the same functionality, and I'd imagine with a whole orchestra of them, they would indeed play in a very similar way to the Buddha machines. But beyond the throbbing gristle or maybe the Philip Glass Buddha machines, these are a bit more interesting. The sounds are a bit more rugged, and I like the 8-bit quality to them. So I think in terms of a sort of for £25, which is what they cost, you know, a Sacred Sound geometry is a really nice addition to a sort of collection of noise making devices, and I've already used them in groups already. It seems to work quite well, and the functionality to be able to change the pitch to suit whatever you're working on is quite useful as well. So that's always a useful feature to have. The cells, the 3-volt cells, are, I don't know, I find them a bit annoying, but I can appreciate that for the size. They make them very portable, You've just got to make sure you've got some CR2025s knocking about so that you can change them if so needed to. I haven't had to change them yet, but I imagine that time will come. So looking back at my purchases, I actually ended up getting these both via eBay actually. I've purchased, but you should go and check the links on YouTube yourself so you can see them, but I purchased Bliss and Horizon, but yeah, my only advice would be to label them maybe so you know which one's which if you have more than one. I fully intend to get some more. I think I went with these two first because I felt that the sound sort of fit you know, soundscapes that I would make. So there are a range of others that I would say maybe more sort of almost 90s rave sounding, industrial, metal, and I went with the sort of more ambient ones for what I'm doing at the moment. But it's not to say that they're like Pokemon, you shouldn't get them all, you know. I think they're really, really cool, really collectible. It's got me thinking about making a small scale 3.5mm stereo jack mixer so that I can plug lots of these sort of small 3.5 size devices in together, so that they can all sort of talk to each other like Furbies. That would be really cool. It also reminded me of a video I did, not on this channel, but for well, donkey's years ago now, about a box that I picked up from a company called Loud Objects, and I've sadly butchered mine, but I'll show you. The Loud Objects device in question is encased in this box, which I've made laser etched ohm on the top on and off switch, and has two buttons to do different functions, but you'll see immediately how similar they are when you look at this thing here. It's again a disc cell, it's got as well a jack out, but this has a series of sort of real 8-bit bleepy sort of sounds, and these can be reprogrammed if you have the sort of hardware to do so with a computer. I've absolutely butchered this. I did it years ago. The surface mount PCBs I sort of bodged on external ones so I could operate it from inside the case, the idea being that it would protect it a little bit more, but over use it has got absolutely annihilated, so that's going to need some TLC to work a little bit better. So thus the sort of idea of maybe having a case with a mixer, so all these little cute circuits that make some amazing noises can all sort of be played together in one go. So I'll have a look at making something like that at a later date. That's it from me. Yeah, my advice, go and buy yourself a Sacred Sound Geometry, any of them, buy them all, get the lot, because they're absolutely amazing, and yeah, a really nice addition to sounds that you know, you may already have, and they're certainly innovative and interesting enough that yeah, you should get some. Get them, check them out. ResonantCircuits.com.
On the outside decks throughout the crossing. Children must be supervised by a responsible adult at all times.